What about the apes? What if I own a Bored Ape? So much controversy swirling around the Bored Ape Yacht Club project right now, Yuga Labs, its founders, allegations of ties to white supremacy and Nazi trolling. And a lot of people are talking about the lawsuit. I've been talking about the lawsuit. You can see those videos below, find out what the lawsuit's all about in the videos below. But today's topic is really all about the owners of the Bored Ape and what their options are. And what you've seen online and Twitter especially is you see a lot of ape owners coming out defending Yuga Labs, a lot of ape owners who are really concerned and vocal that they believe the allegations of ties to white supremacy based on the evidence. And so you've got this division within the Bored Ape Yacht Club community. That's, probably inevitable, right? But what if I am a Bored Ape owner on either side of the fence? What are my options here? Right now, there is no lawsuit in place which will test the veracity of the allegations of ties to white supremacy by the Yuga Labs founders. There's no defamation lawsuit. There's no other lawsuit which will test whether or not these allegations are true. But if I'm a Bored Ape owner, I've got two concerns, one of which is huge for many Bored Ape owners. So, do I want to be associated with a project that maybe does have ties to white supremacy or may have ties to white supremacy, or for which there are allegations of ties to white supremacy? What are my options as a Bored Ape owner? What's a Bored Ape to do? What about the apes? If I believe the allegations, then I probably have one set of options, and if I don't believe the allegations, I have a different set of options. But if you're a Bored Ape owner, you are directly affected by all of this. And so today we're going to jump in and talk about what your options are as an ape owner. And let's face it, there's some people out there who really have to be concerned about their own brand, about their own reputation and the allegations of ties to white supremacy. I mean, here's just a short list of some celebrities who own Bored Apes: Gwyneth Paltrow, Snoop Dogg, Timberland, Gary Vaynerchuk, Steve Aoki, Jimmy Fallon, Kevin Hart, Madonna, Paris Hilton, DJ Khaled, Post Malone, Tom Brady, Mark Cuban, Serena Williams, on and on and on. These are folks who are not affiliated with white supremacy and have no desire to be affiliated with white supremacy. So what do you do if it's your reputation that's on the line as a result of the fact that you own a Bored Ape? I think I heard that Jimmy Fallon took the ape off of his Twitter profile picture. That's certainly an appropriate first step. What are your options in order to protect yourself in all of this if you are a Bored Ape owner? Let's dive in right now and let's find out what kind of things you can do to help yourself. You own a Bored Ape, you're concerned about the controversy. What are your options? The real harm here is to the Bored Ape owners. The focus really right now should be on the Bored Ape owners. So let's talk a little bit about background and then get into the next part of this video with what are the options if you happen to own a Bored Ape, and really what are the options if you are Yuga Labs and the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So we live in a world of reputation, and reputation is equal to value. So yeah, welcome to the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Come on in, because right now there's a lot of Bored Ape owners who are a little worried about going through that door. Remember that when you purchased the NFT that was linked to the Bored Ape image that you received, you really received a membership to the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and this got you entry into Discord, got you entry into the website, and so you are in a membership situation. Well, anytime you're in a membership situation, your brand, your identity, your reputation, your most valuable asset, your reputation is now tied to the project, to the yacht club in this case, to Yuga Labs and to the founders of Yuga Labs. So your Bored Ape value is really one of two different things. It's if you bought it as an investment, you're simply going to flip it in a secondary sale this controversy concerning the Bored Ape Yacht Club and alleged ties to white supremacy, very concerning, because you may have just lost your investment altogether, or potentially a good chunk of that value, especially as this thing plays out. If you bought your Bored Ape to develop your own intellectual property or to license your ape to a third party, then obviously your brand value tied to Yuga Labs is severely compromised by everything that's going on right now with Yuga and the allegations of ties to white supremacy and Nazi trolling. So, your Bored Ape value, if you're developing your IP. If you're developing your IP, what that means is, like, you might give your ape a name, you might give your ape a personality, you might give your ape a voice, a particular tonality to voice, the actual sound of a voice. You could create brand value around your ape by identifying your ape with different causes or products or goods and services. You need to remember, as a Bored Ape owner, because you are able to monetize and use your ape for commercial activities, the real value of the ape isn't the ape itself, it's the additional intellectual property you develop around that ape. And you see your fellow apes out there doing this every day. We'll talk about that in a minute. If you're licensing your ape to a third party, that third party may no longer have any interest in doing business with you until this is all sorted out. So in litigation, in reputation-based litigation, defamation, libel, slander situations, third parties want to know the facts before they jump in with both feet. And my belief is there's probably a lot of licensing deals that got derailed by these allegations until they get sorted out. And so one of the things we want to talk about is, okay, well, are they going to get sorted out, or is this going to linger for the rest of days, right? So the Bored Ape Yacht Club value and the Bored Ape value, Yuga Labs value, they're also brands. They also have reputation. The value of their project is tied to the value of that reputation, that IP, that intangible property called reputation of the project. So as we try to navigate all of this, you see a lot of Twitter activity fighting about whether or not these allegations are true or not true. And that's not today's show. We're not really concerned about this, because as a branding and IP attorney, the consequences of all of this are reality. What is going on is reality. And it doesn't matter if it's true or not true at this point. Your brand value as an ape owner has been compromised. Your association with this project is now causing sleepless nights. So until it's proven as true or not true, this kind of middle ground, this gray area, is as brutal as any other result, because you don't know what to do. Your hands are tied. So as part of your membership in the Bored Ape community, your affiliation with the project, your Bored Ape has brand damage, and your Bored Ape, and you as a Bored Ape NFT owner, your reputation has now been put in a state of compromise. Not good if you happen to have bought a Bored Ape, and until this controversy rose to the surface back in January and now has been highlighted by some of the videos and websites out there, okay, now things just got real, and all your hopes and dreams, all your Bored Ape hopes and dreams are now completely up in the air. So look, there's a lot of examples of ape owners who have engaged in commercial activity, monetization, and licensing with regards to their projects. You've seen some of these. There's releases of movies and streaming content where the Bored Apes are in fact the characters in the movie or in the stream that's being developed. You're seeing, beer, which is being connected to the Bored Ape, or the Bored Ape IPA. You're seeing all kinds of monetization going on with the metaverse group that's gonna, have these apes in them, and is gonna be a potentially forever music group that'll be able to stream and monetize not only their personalities, but the voices they attach to those personalities. You see Ape In Productions in Timberland doing things in the music space with their apes. You've seen Jenkins the Valet. And this is a great example of someone who actually went beyond the Bored Ape moniker and brand. And so this is an ape. Yes, it is a Bored Ape, but this is Jenkins the Valet. So he's separated himself somewhat from the Bored Ape community, right? But in any event, all of these projects are affected by what's going on. And if you happen to be a Bored Ape owner, again, today's show, we're going to be talking about what your options are. The beginning of this, we talked a little bit about all the celebrities who are associated with the Bored Ape project because they bought Bored Apes, and none of these people, to my knowledge, have any affinity for white supremacy or Nazi ties. In fact, many of these people can't risk their reputation, which is worth millions, tens of millions, or hundreds of millions of dollars on an association with what turns out to be a Nazi troll, a white supremacist troll. So, whether it's true, whether it's not true, in this gray area, I will guarantee you these people are sweating about what it is their options may or may not be. So let's take a look at the harm that's occurring to the owners of these tokens that got them membership into what was a fun yacht club and may not be quite so fun anymore. So the real harm is to the NFT owners here, and our focus really moving forward should be on the ape owners. Whether or not they believe the allegations are true or false, they are affected until the controversy is resolved. So what are your options as a Bored Ape owner? Well, look at, do nothing. Sit back and relax and enjoy the show, I guess, and wait for things to kind of play out and not care about the result. There are certainly some Bored Ape owners who probably fit into that category. We know that Ryder Ripps, as part of his First Amendment play, as far as his criticism of the project and the linking to the existing ape images as a new NFT in order to burn the ape as an act of symbolic defiance and to actually tokenize where you as a Bored Ape owner stand on white supremacy. Tokenize your viewpoint. We'll be talking about that in a future full show. So go ahead and subscribe, because listen, the concept that you can now tokenize your viewpoint is something that's relatively new, but is being completely highlighted by what's going on here. I'm going to tokenize how I feel about white supremacy. All right. The third option is one that I think you're going to see some activity on, which is to simply sue Yuga Labs. So if you're a Bored Ape owner, you have causes of action against Yuga Labs based on the allegations. And if you are a Bored Ape owner, you have an interest in knowing whether or not the allegations are true. So there are causes of action, declaratory judgment that will allow you to determine whether or not the allegations are true, that are not seeking money damages. You're just seeking a declaration as to whether or not you can move forward with your project because the allegations are either true or false. You can also bring an action for damages for declaratory relief alleging fraud and deceptive trade practices. So if you believe that the allegations are colorable, and believe me, the objective facts in the YouTube videos that are out there, no one's contesting those facts by and large. Yuga hasn't sued saying the facts. They're just simply saying the suggestion that those facts amount to white supremacy ties are false, that these are all circumstantial things that don't add up. But maybe they'll change it in the future. Maybe they'll say there's false statements of fact there. But the reality is, if any of those allegations are true, if it turns out that the Yuga Labs founders have ties to white supremacy, then you as a Bored Ape owner can sue Yuga Labs for fraud and deceptive trade practices, because they would have had an obligation to tell you that. Why? Here's the legal principle. If the seller knows of facts materially affecting the value or desirability of the IP that are only known by or accessible only to the seller, in this case Yuga Labs, and Yuga also knows that such facts are not known to you or within the reach of your diligent attention, and observation as a buyer, then they have an obligation to tell you that this was really white supremacy trolling. And obviously they would be liable to all the Bored Ape owners for everything paid in both the initial minting and reseller market. So that's one piece, right? There's the potential damages, but I think the more important piece is really this one. If Yuga Labs isn't going to litigate the issue of whether or not the allegations are true, Bored Ape owners, some Bored Ape owner out there is going to want to know the answer. They're not going to want to live under a cloud of suggestion that there are ties to white supremacy, because those will last forever until they're dispelled. And arguing on Twitter is not going to resolve this issue. It's going to have to go in front of a jury. Jury's going to have to decide whether or not the allegations are true. You as a Bored Ape owner have a right to find out whether or not the allegations are true. So will we see lawsuits filed by Bored Ape owners against Yuga Labs? Time will tell, but certainly a viable cause of action. All right, so you could do nothing. You could sell or burn your ape. You can sue Yuga Labs. You can develop your own brand and try and kind of run from the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So keep in mind, when Yuga Labs launched this project and allowed commercialization of your ape, what they allowed you to do is what some of the ape owners have done, is gone out and rebranded their apes by a name, right? And then simply ran with that as a new brand. They created an identity around their ape completely, well, maybe not completely, but independent of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Yuga, and its founders. Now, there's probably no running from that completely, but by developing your own brand, you do reduce the risk that that people are going to associate your ape with white supremacy, right? The goal here is for you to develop your ape as an independent brand. So that's one option, and it probably doesn't get you all the way over the finish line. It doesn't get you back to where you were, before all this controversy came up. But for any ape owner, I would encourage you, if you haven't already started, you need to develop your own brand, because that's going to at least mitigate some of the harm that's being incurred here. All right, your last option that is on this list, and I'm sure there are other options, but your last option that I've identified here is to rebrand your ape as anti-white nationalist, right? So to take and flip this on its head. No one is saying that the NFT purchasers, that the Bored Ape Yacht Club members are besides maybe the founders, are white supremacists, right? Maybe there are some that knew what was going on, if it's true, and then they bought because of that. But by and large, the ape owners are innocent in all of this. So you could take a stand by rebranding your ape as anti-white nationalist and running with that as part of the development of your own brand. So do nothing, sell your ape, sue Yuga Labs, develop your own brand, or rebrand as anti-white nationalist. So that's the focus on the ape owners. Let's talk about what Yuga Labs options are here. And I think that it's important to talk about this because it's going to affect what happens in the ape community. So Yuga Labs options, obviously, they can largely ignore the controversy around white supremacy. They've brought a lawsuit for trademark infringement, but that has nothing to do with the allegations of ties to white supremacy. There's been some question as to why Yuga Labs hasn't sued for libel or slander to establish that the allegations are not true. And we don't know why. And I'm sure ape owners are wondering why, but the answer very well could be that they do not have a viable cause of action. Because keep in mind, there's two different issues here on what's going on the reputational end with Yuga Labs. The objective facts that were set forth in the analysis by Ryder, Rips, and others who were doing documentaries, right? All of those are probably verifiably true, right? The suggestion that they add up to ties to white supremacy by the Yuga Labs founders, that may or may not be, something that's up for debate based on the truth of those allegations, right? So it could be that all the factual allegations made are true, but Yuga Labs is going to simply argue that the suggestion that they add up to white supremacy and ties to Nazis are false. And so there may not be a case for libel or slander out there. There may be no defamation. Now, if it turns out that the factual allegations in the websites and commentaries, that some of those are factually false, materially and substantially false, then Yuga Labs would have a potential claim, right? So the libel and slander issue is one that's still out there, and this is a problem because at the end of the day, if Yuga does not try and get to the bottom of the truth of the allegations, then all Bored Ape owners will suffer. All right? So ignore the controversy, sue for libel and slander, which they've indicated so far they're not willing to do. And here's an option that I put on the table. It's to turn the BAYC over to a DAO and let the community and the membership take over this project, to step back from the project altogether, remove themselves from the project, and let a decentralized autonomous organization try and fix the reputational harm. And the reason why I've tied this to the file a lawsuit is if I'm filing a lawsuit against Yuga Labs for fraud or deceptive trade practices, one of the things that I might want to see by way of relief is an agreement for them to turn the BAYC, the project, over to a DAO. So things to think about if you are a Bored Ape owner and you have any comments or questions, either on post on Twitter that I'm involved in or as part of this YouTube video, go ahead and post in the comments your question and I'll answer it there. If you want it to be private, go to www.traverselegal.com, fill out the contact form, and that'll put you into our system, and I'd be happy to schedule a consultation with you to discuss your options. My name is Enrico. We're talking about what about the apes? We'll see you next time.